Do you need a horror movie to watch on Christmas? Well, there's plenty to choose from. The classic slashers like Black Christmas and Silent Night Deadly Night, the thrills of P2, the brutality of the French film Inside, and the insanity of Gremlins. But how about a movie where the lives of millions of children hang in the balance? Where a demonic force wants to unleash tiny terrors on the world, and they can only be stopped by a group of little, tiny heroes. We're talking about Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys, and if you haven't added this one to your Christmas viewing rotation, it's the best horror movie you never saw. The Universal monsters shared the screen with each other, right? And Freddy fought Jason, and aliens fought predators. And similar to those concepts, Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys is a crossover between two of the most popular franchises set up at the production and distribution company, Full Moon. As you can glean from the film's title, it pits some of the puppets from the Puppet Master movies, who can be presented as heroes or villains depending on the master they're serving, against the evil Demonic Toys. The film stars Corey Feldman as Robert Toulon, father to teenage daughter Alexandra, played by Danielle Keaton, and the great-grandnephew of legendary puppet master Andre Toulon, who famously used his puppets to fight the Nazis during World War II. Robert has acquired the diary of the Puppet Master, along with the puppets Blade, Pinhead, Jester, and Six Shooter from a flea market in Paris. Now he's making the formula that will bring the puppets to life. This requires mixing chemicals, boiling them for hours, and adding 2 drops of Toulon blood. The importance of the blood is a new addition to the Puppet Master lore. In fact, this movie has a completely new backstory for the Toulons that stretches all the way back to Jean-Paul Toulon in the Renaissance era. The Toulons are unknowingly under surveillance by Sharp Toys business owner Erica Sharp, played by Vanessa Angel, who has her own plans for the puppets. She's a servant of the demon Baal. There's even an altar hidden in a sub-basement of the Sharp Company headquarters where she regularly sacrifices the virgin women that she hires as receptionists. Sharp has made an apocalyptic deal with Baal. At dawn on Christmas morning, every toy in the Christmas Pals toy line, which is based on Baal's demonic toy minions Baby Oopsie, Jack Attack, and Grizzly Teddy, will be inhabited by demons. Millions of Christmas Pals out there in the world, and on December 25th, they will all become living, murderous creatures. No. This may sound familiar to you, because the story was clearly inspired by Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, where a toy maker plans to murder millions of people by activating Stonehenge magic he has attached to his silver shamrock line of Halloween masks. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! No one who watches Halloween 3 will ever be able to forget the silver shamrock jingle, which was set to the tune of London Bridges Falling Down. Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys has its own Christmas Pals jingle,
Christmas Pals! Christmas Pals!
which is set to the tune of Jingle Bells. Thankfully, this jingle isn't played nearly as many times as the Silver Shamrock one was. Since Erica Sharp will soon find herself living in a world overrun by demonic toys, she wants the puppets to protect her and do her bidding. To accomplish this, she needs Toulon blood. And that's the setup. Demons are going to destroy the world on Christmas morning. The only people who can stop them are the Toulons. Of course, with the help of the puppets and Robert's love interest, police officer Jessica Russell, played by Sylvia Suvadova. First announced in 1992, Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys didn't make its way out to the wild until 2004. When it finally did go into production, it had Ted Nicholau, director of Full Moon's Subspecies franchise, at the helm for this movie. The screenplay was written by C. Courtney Joyner, who previously wrote Puppet Master 3, and the most popular of the Puppet Master films. It's the Puppets vs. Nazis story. But even though they were Full Moon regulars on the creative team, it was not a Full Moon production. It was solely a product of the Sci-Fi Channel. Crossovers like this were something Charles Band had in mind from the moment he launched Full Moon. He was taking inspiration from Marvel Comics, where heroes had their own solo titles, but also appear in issues of other heroes' comics. And they formed teams like the Avengers. The idea was that all Full Moon movies exist in the same universe, so characters from one franchise might show up in another. The company was 3 successful films into the Puppet Master franchise when they made Demonic Toys. On the Video Zone featurette that played after the movie on the VHS tape, Band revealed that he was already thinking of having the Demonic Toys fight the Puppet Master puppets. He even shared a look at the poster art for Puppet Master 4 that showed some of the characters facing off. Baby Oopsie, Jack Attack, and the laser blasting robot Mr. Static, who didn't even end up in the crossover, were in the same image with Blade, Six Shooter, Pinhead, and another character who didn't make it into the eventual movie, Torch. But when Puppet Master 4 was released in '93, there were no demonic toys in it. But the toys were featured in another crossover that year instead, Dollman vs. Demonic Toys, which saw them battling characters from the Full Moon Productions film Dollman and Bad Channels. Dollman vs. Demonic Toys was a lot of fun, but of course it didn't satisfy fans who were eager to see Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys, now that that possibility had been dangled in front of them. The movie was going to have to be made at some point. Band really started focusing on getting the crossover off the ground at the end of the 90s. Full Moon announced a contest that would give a lucky fan the chance to appear as an extra and win a treasure chest of merchandise. Filming was expected to take place in Los Angeles beginning in April or May of the year 2000, aiming for an October release. Band showed off concept art for a new version of the puppets that would see them getting cybernetic upgrades, turning them into cyber puppets. J.R. Bookwalter, best known for making his low-budget classics like The Dead Next Door and Robot Ninja, was set to direct the film. And since eBay had become extremely popular, there was reportedly a draft of the screenplay written in which the lead character bought the puppets off an auction site, then stored them in the Demonic Toys basement of operations, the Toyland warehouse, where the conflict would then ensue. And it was rumored that Tarsi Lords had been cast as the new Puppet Master. The problem was, Full Moon was dealing with some serious financial issues at that time. When the company started out, they had a deal with Paramount Pictures, which allowed the films to have higher budgets than Full Moon has ever been able to achieve in the years since the deal ended. After Paramount, they had a deal with Kushner Locke, but that deal had also recently ended. So at this time, Full Moon could barely afford to make a regular Puppet Master sequel. Basically, there was no way that they could pay for Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys on their own, so they had to bring in another company to co-produce it. And there was one obvious choice: the Sci-Fi Channel. Full Moon movies were shown on the channel regularly, and the companies were already working together on the William Shatner hosted show Full Moon Fright Night. Sci-Fi jumped at the chance to work on the crossover and were ready to put up their half of the budget, but Full Moon couldn't come up with the other half. So, desperate to get the movie made and wanting to make sure that fans would get the movie that they had been waiting for, Band sold the rights to Sci-Fi completely, giving up his creative control. The producer put in charge was Jeff Franklin, best known for creating the sitcom Full House. That's when C. Courtney Joyner was brought in to rewrite the script. And in an interview with Nate Bremer, author of the book The Puppet Master Complete, Joyner said this: "I never saw a treatment or anything as I recall, and when the whole thing went over to Jeff Franklin and the Sci-Fi Channel, the idea was that it was going to be a pilot to a television show. I wrote it, and they really wanted it to be very much in the tone of something like Gremlins." Franklin envisioned the film being an irreverent family comedy, so that's what Joyner's script ended up being. Well, aside from the virgin sacrifices. Nichols then went through the script and enhanced the humor some more. And once Sci-Fi was in control, Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys was put on the fast track. Pre-production began in June of 2004, with filming scheduled to take place in August and September. Post-production needed to be completed in November, because the movie had a December premiere date that could not be missed. You know, because the story was set at Christmas time, and the movie needed to air at Christmas time. You get it. Initially, the plan was to shoot in Romania Pennsylvania on sets that were left over from the making of Seed of Chucky, which had already been designed for filming scenes with puppets. But the movie ended up being made in Bulgaria on sets that were not made to accommodate puppets. This made work difficult for effects artist Jeff Farley and his crew, and really impacted the puppets and toy scenes. As Farley said in a Pit of Horror interview, "I feel that the short shooting schedule tempered a bit of the action. We had to simplify it due to shooting most of the film in practical locations." The fight scenes in this Rumble in the Toy Box are very short and simple, which was a disappointment to many of us fans. But as compromised as the action is in the finished film, it was almost much worse. Farley and his crew were only going to get 3 weeks to work with the puppets and toys. He was able to talk Sci-Fi into giving the crew 4 weeks to work with the tiny characters. And they added some second unit photography directed by Gary Jones. But even then, don't go into Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys expecting to get much out of the titular clash. It's just over way too quickly. I put it this way, Freddy vs. Jason, it is not. I mean, it's nowhere close to the level of scuffles the puppets have had with equally small creatures in Puppet Master Parts 4 and 5, you know, back when puppet movies had big enough budgets to feature stop-motion animation. But despite that disappointment, Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys is a highly entertaining movie, one that's well worth revisiting every Christmas season. It's the unexpected choice to lean into comedy that makes it so much fun to watch. You can tell Joyner and Nichols knew how absurd the concept was, and they totally ran with it. The script is full of hilariously ridiculous lines, and Corey Feldman goes completely over the top as Robert Toulon, a character who is an out-of-touch knucklehead and was also meant to be older than Feldman was at the time. Joyner had said that he thought he could get Fred Willard to play Robert when he was writing the script, and that actor was born 32 years before Corey Feldman was.
Chris, listen to me. Put down the gun and let the marching band go. We'll play it off as a prank.
Watching this movie with that in mind, you can definitely see the Fred Willard influence on the character. You can also see that Feldman was enjoying playing such a goofball. His interactions with other characters feel like they're right out of an awkward sitcom. Any scene that involves Feldman acting like a flighty, beaten-up old man, even though he was only in his early 30s at the time, is an absolute winner. Vanessa Angel also isn't being subtle with her performance as Erica Sharp, but there are fun scenes with the puppets and toys as well. Like when the puppets get cybernetic upgrades, sort of along the lines of Jason Voorhees becoming Uber Jason and Jason X around the same time. And as quick as the fight is, it's still cool to see the puppets destroy their enemies. One of the best moments involves Feldman being chased down a hallway by Baby Oopsie. It's a very amusing sight that gets even sillier when the baby doll launches itself right through the air and starts pummeling Feldman's face. As he describes it later, Baby Oopsie kicked my butt. Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys made its December premiere date and brought in good ratings for the Sci-Fi Channel, but it didn't lead to any more Sci-Fi produced Puppet Master or Demonic Toys stories. The characters went back home to Full Moon, where Charles Band doesn't count Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys as part of either franchise, since he wasn't involved creatively. It's not even appreciated by some of the people who made it. Director Ted Nichols told Video Fugu, "It didn't have the kind of brooding quality that Puppet Master fans want. It didn't have great puppet action. It didn't have a great lead because Corey Feldman is such a complicated actor. It was a mistake, that film." Really, the only mistake here would be in taking the movie too seriously. It wasn't made under the best of circumstances, and its limitations do shine through brightly, but none of this is meant to be taken seriously at all. It's a comedy that you can laugh at and with. It's cheesy, it's corny, the performances are hammy. It's a wonderful Christmas feast. So set aside some time this holiday season to take in a viewing of this undervalued, misunderstood crossover. Give it the chance to boost your holiday cheer by showing you something to laugh at for 88 straight minutes. It's not the movie fans ever thought they would get, but it's a good time. And it's better than finding one of the Christmas pals under your tree. Thank you for watching our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our JoBlo Horror Originals channel, tell your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notification for all of our latest videos. We're an independent company, and we appreciate your support.